Hello, welcome to Divine Unisouls 11. This is your host, Divine Divine Sunshine. Well, I am Divine Unisouls. I am part of a lot of souls. Make sure you click like, share, and subscribe to this channel because that helps to put your energy into this reading, but also lets me know and encourage me to keep on going and to keep on flowing with you. Okay, so right now the overall energy is here for this one. This is looking at the Twin Flame Collective. I might kind of do something a little different with this one. Is healing the of the ages. So we really are passing. A lot of us are saying, "I'll turn it this way," but I got to turn it back that way. And I might put it up here. The overall energy is here is healing the ages. So to me, in order, we keep on talking about we're getting prepared for this new shift into this new dimensions that we are getting into. Let me move it over just a little bit. There we go. That we had to move it down because I was all the way down there. Help us to understand the new dimensions that we are getting into, as far as the 50 and the golden age and the Aquarian age. We got to get rid of all this stuff. Again, that goes back into bag lady. Bag lady, you gonna miss your bus. Dragging all those bags like that. So want to understand that we have to get to the point that we have got to get rid of these baggage, these things that no longer serve us, these burdens, these things again, and we're getting pushed for change, which is represented by the number 5 and 1, using our intuition. Excuse me, something about our communication we got to get rid of, and also our awareness in order to do that, so we can really truly get into love and harmony. 6, 5 plus 1 equals 6. Okay. So that is the overall energies, because right now for our soul's journey, what's the lesson that we're learning for our soul's journey right now collectively is judgment. I think again where we have been stating or looking at how things have happened, we've gotten our judgment has gotten off, like our judgment about, like almost like a person say driving a car, and in that car, you know how if you are intoxicated and they like, okay, your judgment is going to be a little off as far as driving. And so we kind of really would suggest that you get a person who is not drinking, a designated driver, to be able to do that. So it says, I understand everyone has their own unique path and challenges. I also get picked up from this is that, again, not to be judged about how things are going on your path. Don't compare it to other people. I'm getting pushed by that too as well. Don't judge how other people are coming up and showing up for you too as well, because again, that is one of the things that maybe have been stopping you, because you may be criticizing others or your twin or yourself, or how things are being engaged too as well. So that has caused an issue too. So they don't want you to be pretty much judgy, or judging others, or judging even spirit about how it's even going about making these things manifest and come true for you as well. So that's one thing that they're saying, that you need to kind of like watch it about how you're healing these things. So we're going to take it 2 ways. So from this point on, that's the overall energy. So we're going to look at how it is for you or your person, whichever way it is, like what's going on as far as how they're healing for this past to get ready for moving on to the next level, and how how this judgment of how things happened in the past, or how people are even acting in the future or even the present, how that's stopping us from us really truly being able to level and go on, rather it's a person, place, a thing, or even spiritual. They say add that into that too, as well as we're looking at things, how it's person, place, of things, or spiritual. So now when we're looking at either our person or thing as well, this would be person number 1. I'm gonna look at 2. You pick 3 piles again. I like my pick a pile. Person number 2. I think I put somebody back down. That's all right. And person number 3, you got 3 cards coming out. Okay, for each one of them. Okay, and it might be best to keep it like that way. And let me get some clarifiers for 1. Clarifiers for 2. Clarifiers for 3. Okay, so when we talk about matters of the heart for person number 1, can you see that? Is it spreading out? Yeah, okay. Just want to make sure if I got to kind of tilt you this way. I don't want to move too much. I think you kind of great just right where you are. There we go. Okay, so for person number 1, for you, I'll put you right here, little dude, so I can get in here a little bit more. Okay, so right now for person number 1, if that's who you are, it's person number 2 and it's person number 3. Okay, so for person number 1 here, pay attention to the red flags. There's been some signs been given to you in love that you got to really look at. Spirit has been, ancestors been talking to you. This to me, ancestors, because you've been overdoing it, overdoing it. Your mind has been overactive. You've been putting on a lot of layers. I know I had a spiritual clearing out with a young lady, Leith from Twinflames Healing, has stated that she's noticing that a lot of divine masculines had a lot of layers on, and they got to kind of unpack these layers. You got a lot of layers from the past here that you've got to be able to deal with in order to become really truly who you are. And your mind, you've been protecting your mind. You even been protecting yourself from even getting downloads from spirit to be able to really help you and really connect you with where you really actually need to be doing. I'm hearing the word new, like they're trying to help you create some newness within you, but you have not been doing that. This has been playing a factor on your religious factors have played a part as far as you is about this love thing here, the matters of the heart, because your love life is influenced by your religious upbringing and spiritual past. That could go back into the past. Spiritual past, what jumps off to me, it might be past lives too as well. It's played a part with you in some things about the matters of art that had happened to you, and it's kind of blocking you from being able to. I've been keep on feeling this new message about these exes from Texas, these ex relationships that you have played a major part as far as how you being able to move on in love, but there's still that trauma from that trauma or traumatic event that happened with that person. Is also stopping you from you being able to move on. And you've been catching these red flags too as well. This about religions. To me also, when I see the word religious, means you've been doing this thing religiously, like over and over and again. Or whatever has happened in the past with this person has made it became a religion. It's like a religious belief. It's like a belief that's ingrained with you. You know, I'm not gonna pick nobody that's X, Y, and Z. Or when it comes to love, it seems like it's not destined for me. You know, and so those things you've got to kind of watch that, because the spirit been saying we've been trying to give you this person and it only goes like so much. So you got to remove that block, because again, right now at this point, it's like by you paying attention to these red flags about yourself, not the person, about yourself, and how you've been really manifesting yourself in the 3D is showing up as and moving and having your being and standing in your authority or your power in the world. This has these red flags are now coming to you about yourself, maybe about how you've been thinking, your philosophy of things. It's helping you to be able to get really truly a leg up about some stuff and move with brute force, because I'm thinking about the mother here, and you've been able to nurture yourself and be able to give yourself self-compassion and self-love about this helps you, because right now you understand that you've got to really knock these things down, because polar bears paw and swipe is extremely powerful, and you understand that it's got to be a brute force, because right now you're the person number 1, you're ready to end cycles. You're ready to end cycles right now. You're ready to move on into something different. And you understand that right now in this here, you're at the center of this, and this came in reverse. So you really truly have this understanding. You understand that you're influenced by this wanting to end cycles here too as well. Person number 2 is, these could be you. Remember, you look at this 2 ways. It could be either you looking at this for yourself, or you could be looking at what's happening with your person right now. Currently. So again, children. So children right now is having a very big factor on you or your person, because right now you're looking about as far as how you're nurturing things children could also be new projects or new beginnings too as well. So it could be children or new projects. You're looking at how you're nurturing it. You're also looking at how you are standing in your laugh, which means your loyalty to this newness or to your children. You're looking at how you stand in your authority and being a leader with your with your children or your new beginning. And you're looking at how you're friendly, how you're associating, how you're connecting to these things too as well as with your children or this new beginning, because you understand that you got to decide what you're doing as far as this new beginning or with your with this child here soon, because it's blocking you from either being really truly being in union with yourself. I'm looking at this, the divine feminine energy is really giving in as far as how she's being and how she's observing things as well. So as the divine masculine is the one who is really the support, the energies there to support you as you are finding yourself. To me, this is like I'm surrendering and I'm giving into the divine masculine energies as far as how you have your being, how you're showing up in the world, to give into that. You got to decide very soon, because it's this new beginning. Or it could be also children. You could be also being ready to give birth to, or you might be again becoming a mother or a father too as well. And so this is playing a very big part, because again, to be fair, you are understanding that there's got to be a balance going on in your world with the divine feminine energies, divine masculine. They're also pointing out to me it's got to be a balance about what's happening in your outer world, well, so as in your inner world. You got to become like a queen. Again, knowing who you are, that you are royalty, that again, that you are the one who is in control, not the very things on the outside being in control of you. You got to become wiser, because again, you're finding out what things are not for you and what things again is for you to be able to start this new beginning. This new beginning might be for you, and the things that's not for you, and you got to find a balance. Or it could be a lucky beginning or fortuitous beginning or a serendipitous event that happens versus to something that's very solid in of the world for you to be able to cross this finish line. For person number 3, let me move this up a little bit. Okay, so you can see, because I think person number 3 is out the frame. If I'm looking at this right, yeah, it is. Okay, let me move this up just a little bit more. See if that gets you in there. Okay, and I might have to layer you. Let's do you a little bit. Excuse me 1 second. Got a new setup. I'm just trying to play with the angles so we can be able to see everything. Okay? So I just ask for patience. Thank you. Okay, all right, I think we can see it better now. All right then, so now let's look at person number 3. Right now you're getting to know one another, so that we could be with yourself or with your person is trying to get to know you. I'm thinking I'm also picking up another thing that is trying to get to know some things or some people or themselves rather within, like the divine masculine energies is trying to really understand the divine feminine energies. It's like, again, I understand that a lot of things when I show up in the world is because of its my duty, my responsibility, and I'm really trying to find myself to be able to stand in my truth in what I'm doing. But I understand that defensiveness that I have, so that would be like the reading if you watch the one that's talking about Aquarius and then the defenses and not Aquarius. Well, I'm picking on you, sorry. Air signs. This to me would be regularly, you're definitely an air sign here. This in here. Be picking this sign. So if you're an air sign like this, again, this 3 might even appeal to you, person number 3, because it's about putting the defensive down, putting the sword down, and really truly being able to stand in your truth, to really get to know not only yourself, because it begins and ends with you. So yourself, but then also know your person, because maybe when you look at your person, you might even say, I'm seeing they got some childhood wounds or something about them still maybe very childlike, or maybe still codependent on the family or the mother or whatever, a father or something like that. But understanding that you still know that spirit is still working with you, because I see the angels here. But you saying I'm doing a lot of things out of duty. So you got to be able to kind of marry the two, or to meet in the middle, because there's a viewpoint in the way you're looking at your person that is kind of, you got to get a new perspective on, and it's kind of stopping you. Because again, something about in the past, it's very familiar, maybe even equate, for me to say mother, something about the mother, how they handle things. So maybe when you're looking at the way your partner is also looking at things, is kind of reminding and reflecting of something of your own childhood as well. Unrequited love. I got to understand that some of you all are there to me in because of the duty feels or responsibilities, are in some issues of situations or relationships or connections that is unrequited love. You not knowing yourself also brings on unrequited love, because there's not a loving of knowing of oneself. There's no practice of self-love truly there for you, person number 3. So you've got to really truly understand yourself in order to understand what you love, what's your likes, whatever your dislikes, so you can be able to bring more and draw more of that to you. Some of you all are not in that engagement to really truly know what you like, who you are. And so spirit is really directing you right now where you are, is to really know that, to know thyself is to be true. And that's it. So there's time for you, again, to say chop wood. It's time for you to kind of clean up some things, maybe externally and internally, get some things going so you can be able to open up the doorways of new opportunities to come. And understand that you've got to be able to imagine yourself more so out of where you are, your humble beginnings from your past, and know that you are created to be a sum of much more. And this is where it is, because again, I'm seeing this tied. You got your hand up in the air here, and you're tied to the moon energies, which is again like the divine feminine, saying understanding within yourself, understanding that again it's going to take some intuition and some awareness, truly getting in line with that to get you out of that, and less on just being able to just build upon the illusions that the world is showing you. Okay, so this is where again that you are as far as when we talk about matters of love. Now, the things that we've got to be able to surrender. What life changes are you? I'm sorry, not surrender. What life changes are you going through at this time? What life changes that it is for person number 1? Your life changes is volunteer. So again, to me, I'm feeling like, again, for you seeing the red flags, and you got this religious factors here. Be a volunteer to be able to say, you know what, spirit, use me. This is what I'm picking up. It's just like I'm hearing the song, you use my hands, my voice, my eyes, my ears, everything, in order for me to be truly an instrument of what you really want. Because I'm seeing things of the past has not been working out in my favor. These X's for Texas I keep on using. So volunteer yourself up to be of service, to be able to be used by spirit to help you to go ahead and to be willing. This is what they're saying, a willing volunteer, to be able to experience more of connection, more healthy connections, more understanding. You got to eliminate some things that don't, like, volunteer up your stuff to say, again, these things that no longer serve you, go ahead and take them out. You know, I'm going to be ready for it. I'm going to pray that, again, that I can be all right with it. Even if I'm not all right with it, I'm going to get to the point that I'm going to be okay with it. Understanding that, again, it's something about how you're communicating it to. Maybe you got to vocalize it and let the spirit know that I'm ready and I'm open and receptive to this good that you are going to bring to me. But it's, again, that's what's bringing to me about is about volunteering. Something about this, you have not been willingly doing this. There's been a fight because of these old ideologies about volunteering. You have not been volunteering to give up these things. And so now it's time to freely, to me, is a part of surrendering to it again, about these judgment, about judging. Some of you have not gotten into freely doing these things because you've been judging things, and then also wanting to be able to heal these very things of the past. So like, volunteer your life up and just say, go on ahead, like use me, and take out what's yours, so it can be really truly align things with my heart. Okay. For number 2, what things are for person number 2? What is being changed in your life? Self-care. Something about these children, something about that needs to be changed very soon, that I talked about before. Rather, it's this new beginning or whatever it is. To me, you've got to get more centered in self. You might be a person to children. To me, is again about being service to them, finding yourself being people pleasing, finding you putting your needs last. And Spirit's like, no, you understand that they could be more of understanding and more learning, or more of you being putting their needs first, is when you put yourself first, because again, they learn through example. So once you start communicating that, whether it's through verbal and nonverbal, eliminating some things, moving into the energies of being able to be grounded and rooted in it, and also understanding about your building healthy relationships, understanding how you're being things that manifest that's good for you, will move you into the power of being able in your solar plexus, which is standing in your power authority, being able to give healthy boundaries up. No, by no means no right now, because mommy's working on something. No, dad's working on something. You know, I'm doing what's for me, not about what's happening with the family. And that's something that I think in one of them, whose sign was it that had the family issues that you had to kind of look at, and we were talking about. So whatever sign that was, I forgot. You might want to look back and see about what is this family aspect and how you're tied into things. It was either earth or water. To me, this is showing that element there too as well. Okay. For the third person, what things are changing now? For this week, this current, or whenever it is healthcare changes. Oh, wow. You got some other ones here stuck up, too. Well, your healthcare changes. How are you taking care of your health, your being, your mental, your spiritual, your physical? How you take care of that? Because there's some things that need to be eliminated here, especially when we talk about getting to know oneself, and there's unrequited love. It's just not enough love to keep on. What ways you got to do there is to look about your self-care, your health care as well. How are you taking care of yourself? That's another way of being able to know yourself, because that's going to help you to understand that there's some things there that it seems like you're not loving yourself too as well. Maybe by the things that you're doing, the thoughts that you're thinking, psychological, spiritually, physically, maybe some things, the dietary that you need to kind of change on that one too as well. For third person, they have his hobbies. Getting to do a hobby also is going to help you to get to know yourself too as well. Understand about the love and the passion that you have for something that you are really, because I know sometimes with me, I have to do things energetically that I feel like I'm creating something that makes me feel like I'm in the flow, or also with the divine, because divine is also about the creation and creating things. That helps me to kind of get maybe my sacral together, because it's also about manifesting and creating those things. So hobbies, how is it that it helps you to stand in your power? These projects and things that you take on, that's going to help you to be able to get the downloads. When I'm creating something, I'm thinking about also with spirit. Spirit's talking to me, it's talking back to me. Yeah, do this, add this, even if I'm cooking, and that's like a hobby to me. Add this thing. Maybe you might want to add this seasoning. No, wait a second. Someone tells me maybe use the air fryer for this last process. Those things like that. So that's also going to be another way for you to get in tune with yourself. Another thing for you, third person, is again heavenly signs. Some signs are going to help you to be like landmarkers to understand, are you really truly hearing yourself? Are you really truly seeing that? Landmarkers also with this heavenly signs let you know, okay, where you going and what you're doing right now is a place of letting you know that there's no love there. Actually, there's love lost if you keep on going in that direction. So that's another thing too as well. And here you have adult children. When I see adult children, that lets me know it's something about your inner child or your little child that maybe have had wounds or whatever like that. You have inner childhood wounds. There's something that's got to be talked to, so you could be able to grow up and to really truly be in the age or the maturity spiritually that you're supposed to. There's some spiritual, again, they had their childhood wounds. I forgot that was in the cards there. That has not quite grown up. You're still kind of in that back in the past, and you are, again, they say sometimes when people have trauma, whatever it is, even though you're adults, say, well, I'm 55 years old, but whatever the trauma that has occurred, maybe it was 9 years old, it's a 9-year-old in the driver's seat creating, making decisions based upon a 9-year-old mindset, although you're 55. Okay, so that's something that you got to kind of look at that as well. So that's got to be changed too, and that's the changes that Spirit say they want you to be working with. What's going on? I don't think I need to do feeling about how you feeling. Like I said, it's a whole different story. I brought that out. So the shadows that you need to work with. Now we're getting into solutions. For person number one, what's the shadow that they need to work with? It's just, yeah. Fragmentation. Pay attention. So you feel really in your divine masculine energies that something about you is, again, fragmented. The key is to go heal and go and work with your divine masculine energies. That means the root, the sacral, and the solar plexus. The root is being more grounded and rooted in as far as what's going on in the past. You might want to look into your family aspect and dynamics of ideologies and beliefs that was adopted from your past or from your family or things like that, and moving into having healthy relationships with your creating that. It's been red flags about that. You need to heal that and get that together as far so as manifesting things. And then even in your solar plexus, you understand standing in your power, being able to say no and have healthy boundaries. That needs to be strengthened, because once that's the key to making you whole again. And that's probably the red flags that you've been getting, and understanding that the religious, which is something that you do over and over again, person number one, that needs to be changed. The next thing here as well, so as person number one, you need to, again, alone in the world. Some kind of way you feel that you are alone and it's causing a problem. But I would say almost, to me, I pick up that you feel like you've been in separation from your person number one. And then, like, in some ways I'm picking up they're saying this is a good thing, because it's going to help you get an introspection and to truly see about these red flags that's going on, and what is this things, these religious thoughts that you have, or the spirituality, spiritual things that you have, maybe by religion, what is 3D or what physical a man is made, less than what has been made by God or the universe, is causing a problem about you being alone. Because again, this is a good thing, but because of religion or your spirituality, spiritual beliefs that you have grown to adopt, because the things that happened in the past needs to change, because it's causing you to try on so many different identities that you don't know, it's the fabric of your life, as to what you are sowing or creating from that. Also understand that black flower fragrance, knowing that even the ugliest things here have a reason, and they're helping you to be able to know the difference, to build some discernment about what's going on with you, and that's how you be able to build the red flags. But it's also understanding about, like I said, things that might have been dark or black in the past, like that, but understanding that there's been lessons that could be learned, like karma, that could be learned from that. The shadow aspect that you need to work on, because we had the eclipse, so we know we had to deal with that too. The shadow work that you've got to do, person number two, is a lot. Some kind of way you feel like you all tied up about this children and this new beginning that you want to do. This is why they say about self-care, because some kind of way you think you're married to it. that you're deeply committed to it and there's no way out from that. Also, that it pertains to dream. Something about this going into your next level of really stepping into your dream is a problem here. And so some kind of way you feeling like if you step into it, something's going to die and you don't know what it is. What was I watching the other day? Oh, that was Queen of the South. And she was saying that she was scared about the person that she was going to become, and saying that she knew that she was destined for whatever this next move is, but she was scared of her, this future person, because she keep on looking in the mirror and she would see herself, and then she had like this future person was like, she had on this bad ass, excuse me for cursing, suit that was all white that showed the little cleavage and her chest area, and I mean she was bad. She was making money moves in that, although she was a drug dealer, a drug cartel leader. And she was bad, baby. But she's like, I'm scared, because she came from humble beginnings in Mexico and trying to make her way up the ranks. And I mean, she became one of the baddest bees out there. And so this is again, but she's like, but I'm scared of who I'm going to become. And then even her boyfriend at that time, the guy that really liked her, and at the end became her main squeeze, was like, he was scared. He's like, I miss the old Teresa from Kulakan. And so then he was like, was the other person saying, well, that we all got to die. We all can't stay the same thing at some point in time. We all have to evolve. And that is true. But this person, in order to begin something, this new beginning, you got to end something. Some of us are scared to do that. I'm not going to do the numbers with that one. I see 2 and 8. Okay, when I say I don't, usually I end up. 2 means you got to rely on your intuition, your awareness to create this new birth. This 8 means rebirth again, and to have this harmony as well for what's happening for the past into the present. Some of you all are addicted to the devil that this comfort zone, which is overrated. You feel like, hey, I feel comfortable right where I am. I don't want to move and shift it to anything else. This again, some of you all are addicted to the pain. Some of you are addicted to the backstabbing that might have occurred in this one again. But like I said, you got to get understanding that your divine feminine energies is ready to lean in and trust the divine masculine energies into coming one. And by this new beginning coming, it's going to allow that to also happen. Some of it is about these children aspect, if you want to, for person number 2 has had this, they addicted to the pain or whatever it is that has to do with these children. These children might not be acting right. They might be questioning your nurturing. They might be questioning the way in which you have been in leadership, being a mom. Might have questioned about how you've been able to, like your connection with them, and they might be your loyalty to them, and this has been causing pain, something about this too, but you've been addicted to it too. You ain't been wanting to make no changes with it, because you're like, okay, well, I'm used to it. My kids don't like me. Ain't no different about that. They, they disrespectful to me. They don't do that, and I'm used to this. I'm not ready for this change. Maybe again, they are adult children. They might be college age. Might be time to kick they behind on out. But you still saying, but they my baby, I'm scared they go out there, these times is rough, I don't know what might happen to them if they go out there in the world, because they my children and I don't want to be cruel. But again, at the same time, you might not be helping them. You might be delaying them from them learning from their own karmic lessons too as well. Understand, I won't cry for you. Some of them say again that this thing is putting you so much in pain that you're not even releasing what is actually going on with you when it comes to this situation with this new beginning. Is very painful, but at the same time, you're almost to the point that it's stressing you out. So I'm thinking about Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, that he was so stressed out about this decision, about him coming out the Garden of Gethsemane, that and them coming to get him, and about the next thing that he knew was going to happen to him, that he sweated blood. And somebody say he got so stressful that if you think scientifically that it is possible you do that, you bust a blood vessel. Whatever it is, this is stressing you out, this new beginning. And it's stressing you out to the point of that it's making you question a lot of things. But you understand that you're being pushed from someplace else, such as spirit, to say the next decision has got to be made with this. And this is where you are. You got to deal with that shadow work of preparing yourself and getting ready. I think about what I was working with my person, and she was letting me know that a person for healing of the mind, understanding that, stating that I need to take things one step at a time instead of doing it from the elephant way, chewing the whole elephant, starting with the tail, the booty, and then work my way up into the trunk instead of doing it the opposite way. And this is something I probably would tell this person too, is like, in order to deal with the shadow work there, and you say you're not going to cry, but you're stressed out, so you got to release it and go on ahead and work it out. You're finding yourself sacrificing. I told you about these children. This came in reverse. These two books came in reverse. Got to deal with the pain and releasing it, and dealing with whatever it is that, again, that's stressing you out. You've got to deal with it, and you got to deal with you over sacrificing. You're people pleasing. You're sacrificing too much for your children, or you find yourself sacrificing too much by listening to others. This is why I'm thinking about this new beginning. And you sacrifice it. Well, I want to make everybody happy, so if they ain't happy, I'm just not going to do it. I've been in that position. I understand it. But then at the same time, you're finding yourself being armored down by the burden of you being defensive and trying to protect yourself. And also with this sword of this truth, that you know the truth, you're holding it, but you holding it in front of yourself. That's going to also be to defend you, but you're not really able to get and receive the very thing that you need, but you know what the truth is. And I'm looking at this little bit of slither of light. Can you see that little bit of light that's being shown there too as well? And that's keeping you in the dark by you still trying to cater to these children, or you not making this move towards actually this new beginning. Okay, all right there. And the shadow work for person number 3 that you've got to deal with. Person number 3, your shadow work is naked before the stars. So getting to know each other. That's interesting that came out with that, which means you just got to get naked. You got to get naked out there. Don't care. You got to get vulnerable. Don't care who's seeing, who watching. Stop putting on the show, because when I look at that, I think about can't lie. I'm trying to be over sexy, over sensual, everything. No, that's not going to help me to really truly get to know myself and understand that what I'm doing is getting in return unrequited love. There's no love being returned to that. I'm throwing out all this stuff. But again, I'm putting this card on top. I'm throwing out all this stuff. I'm bound down. My divine masculine energies is bound down to the spirit. But the spirit understands and knows. She's looking like, to me, it's like all this extra fanfare that you're doing in your divine masculine energies. I see it happening, but it's not getting a reaction to it, because spirit knows that you're lying. Spirit knows that that is not truly the true person that you are acting. It's making you go into, like I said, about the other energies for the moon. You becoming a bootleg version of yourself, not the true version. Also understanding that you too are being defensive about it. It's in the temple of my body. You're being defensive about some things too, and it's keeping you into that dark energy of that dark thinking. Because when I see the crow, that lets me know about dark thinking about yourself. It's not really helping you to really become into the divine as well, because you say, well, I ain't getting no love, I'm trying this way, or I'm gonna cut this person off, and they kiss my behind, and this, that. But again, are you truly getting down to the reasons as to why the person is showing up, or why they did that? Or you just quickly just shutting it off and cutting it off, and not really getting down to the bare reasons, or the really understanding why, the intentionality, why the spirit, or why did this show up? What lesson was I supposed to actually learn from this? How did this help me to understand myself better? What do I need to know to do differently so I don't attract that stuff? No, you just right, just ready to just do battle. Because again, you're obsessed. You're not taking time by, to me, looking at yourself. You're looking at outside things. These shiny little objects got my attention. So now I don't have no time to really actually look into, can you see this? I can't actually look into what's actually wrong with me, because I keep on looking at the shiny had this shiny object in front of me. And actually, if you look at the picture, she's not even looking at that, because there's so much stuff going on in the mind about what's really actually about divine. And this is really the light really shining there. Something else has your attention outwardly. This is not helping you to look at yourself inwardly. And this is something of zest. So you got to deal with that shadow work with whatever it is. If it's trying to get in union with your person, or you looking on the outside things, it's not, you want this material things that you want, or it's something, whatever it is that is distracting you. And Spirit said that's not helping you really truly get into what's going on with you, boo-boo. Okay? And so the next thing is, so in doing that, so emotionally, okay, I see I could use that. So emotionally, what you got to deal with, and that's mostly our emotions here, Spirit wants you to deal with, because it's been thrown out, because it might got you in your feels about what I just said. For number one, for person number one, right now you paid attention. You probably right now is you got to deal with you overwhelmed, okay? By a lot of these things, communications, things that coming your way, how you can be able to be flexible, communications, how you can be able to deal with this childhood stuff, how people is communicating with you, maybe also correspondence of bills too as well, might be also letters or something written to you, how you take care of your business, how you're able to juggle all these things and be comfortable and be in your driver's seat, and that is causing the issue. What you got to deal with also is your feelings of resentment by things that happened in the past too as well, and how you got to be resentful about maybe something that's caused you to have this religious issues that you deal with and paying attention to. You've got to deal with how the person number one in your feels about this receptiveness. You got to be receptive to what Spirit is trying to bring to you. Be open and accepting and welcoming too as well, because again, you got roses here. Let's know that, hey, some things is going to come. The thorns are going to come with the roses, which is the beauty. In order to have beauty, we're going to have some thorns. Also, you got to deal with this paying attention to these red flags, and this religious things has kept you trapped too as well, and it's you feeling cornered and stuck, like again, a tiger in the cage. But you know that you're more powerful than that. Stop thinking that you're powerless. Spirit says, because you are powerful, that you're not paralyzed by the way you're thinking, because your thinking is as far as your spiritual or your religious factors. And about each time you see these red flags, to me, seems like to some of you all are scared, because you're like, okay, does that mean I got to stop what I'm doing? And Spirit is saying, like, no. It really wants you to, again, when you talk about your feelings, you need to move more into happiness. Okay, you showed me these red flags. Thank you. Let me see how I can be able to deal with that. These religious factors or the spiritual factors. Make sure that you are picking factors that are more of a high vibe things. If this way of thinking keeps you in a perpetual cycle like they was talking before, then maybe again you need to kind of let that thought or that factor or that belief in a religious belief or that spiritual go, because it's keeping you making you too judgy about what's going on. So you need to be creative. How can you be able to get out of these situations? Person number one, you need to be able to, like, again, to be a potter and clay, to release yourself, to surrender, and be ready to start all over again. I'm looking at this one again. Volunteer. That's why I told you you need to volunteer yourself to be used by Spirit. Okay? Become a vessel. Let them use them and be creative of how they can get you out of there. Person number two, what is it about in your fields that you need to get out of? I'm shuffling off on this. Again, is you need to move more so into, we was talking about children. So you need to be, again, nurturing and love. Be devoted about this love that you have with children. Be devoted about this new beginning that you have. Be respectful. Make sure that, again, that you respect your children's needs as well as they're talking to you, but also understanding that you're being respectful of yourself too, your divine feminine, divine masculine energies, as you are making these decisions very soon to move into your new beginning. Also, make sure that even if you're unsure about the road that your children are taking, know that the Spirit is, they say you are supported and it has your back on that. And so it doesn't matter really about what direction that you take, because all roads are going to lead you onto the path that you need to. Spirit has a way of, again, like self-correcting. Even if you go left and they say, I want you to actually go right, don't worry about it. Maybe you might move into that house that it was wrong for you. And maybe 5 years later or a year later, you find yourself, I got to move. When Spirit said, yeah, you took that detour, but we're going to put you right back onto where you need to go. So don't worry about that thing. A lot of times we're scared to do wrong. And it's just like, then they say, but like, some things you just can't handle wrong. You just got to find out. Understanding that once you do that and you make that decision real soon about this new beginning or handling your children different, you'll be proud about the things that you have accomplished. Your divine feminine energies will feel like, I don't know why I looked at that, she looked like divine maverick as well. So you'll be able to be proud of that. Don't worry about you being inadequate. We talked about that, about how your children might be claiming that you're inadequate, or this new beginning might feel you're inadequate. A lot of times I have to remind myself the Spirit will put you in positions that you say, I am not qualified, because according to the Spirit or the universe believes that you are adequate and you're supposed to be in that position. So don't worry about that. If you're not again, have the resources or have the experience or whatever, because a lot of times Spirit will use you for things that you are not ready for and they're not, again, equipped for. So keep those things in mind about this new beginning. Stop looking for it to be perfectly, this got to be in place, that got to be in place, and understand that Spirit is guiding you to make a decision about this real soon, because again, something else down the pipeline might occur that might enable you not to be able to. And with these children, like I said, think you're inadequate, but guess what? According to even looking at this picture, you're still going up, you're still ascending, even though you're packing and moving a lot of things that no longer serve you or the dynamic of the relationship with your child or children. It is also happening that, again, that you are driving, you're going upward. Even though the car might not seem like what you have as the vehicle as you as a human might not be, but you're still getting the job done. See, and that's what you got to remember. And also for the person number 3, remember grief. Again, getting to know oneself, understanding unrequited love. And that makes sense in your fields that you need to, they want you to get into that, because it's time for you to grieve. And in order for you to begin something, you've got to end something. Are you able to see that? And so that means that it's time for you to really start the grieving process. Like I thought I was going to be this way, X, Y, and Z, but I see Spirit is now pulling me to go into a different direction. So this is what is actually going on right now, is that, again, whatever things, that dreams or hopes or that you had for, Spirit is saying it's time to start to let go, to start grieving it. It's like it didn't happen. Stuff in the past here that you believe that it's going to happen this way. I made this promise to myself, it ain't going to be like this again. And you end up coming up with the same stuff that your parents had did, or the same stuff that you had called yourself so-called avoiding. You find yourself going right back into it. And so now you got to grieve. You got to forgive yourself, grieve that it didn't happen, and celebrate the opportunity that something great and much greater is on its way. What was the card for that? Because it's unrequited, right? Because right now where it is, it ain't no exchange of love being given there. It's just not. Speaking of love, as I wrap this up here, let's look at and see about our messages from either ourselves or either from our counterpart as well. And that they're sending to us on this journey about this. For person number 1, the message that's being sent to you is from yourself or your person, would be that express love through gifts. Giving small tokens to someone expresses you love to them. And so this right now, I'm picking up from this, is that your person or you for yourself is giving you something small, just a token of encouragement. Maybe if your person is, you're not with that person, or they might, if they're not with, you're not with that person to see them, they're sending you something energetically that you need, maybe a big boost, a love, a dream, or something like that, that you're going to feel like, oh my God, this is really good. This gives me encouragement. So this again, and also is saying for you to maybe, even if you're looking looking for you as that person. Give little gifts of something back to even to your person too as well, or those in your surroundings, just to let them know that you care, just to let them know to get that love flowing. Sometimes you got to prime that pump with that love stuff too as well, so you can start giving and receiving and get that even flow going on. For person number 2, is this what this was sticking up? And they want you to also, about this having paying attention, they want you to have faith. Trust your faith in this situation. You've seen the red flags. You're understanding right here that, again, religious factors is playing a part. But they want you to also to be able to keep the faith, okay? Keep hope. Hope is one of the strongest emotions that's out there. And again, it's something that, again, if it's taken away from a person, hope, then that would cause them to really things to easily just die off. And because without hope, you know, a lot of us, where would we be? Where would things that have existence that we have experienced be? For person number 2, what is the love message that is for you? Excuse me 1 second, this fell on the floor. So this is really divine. Okay, for person number 2, yours is embrace your emotions. Right, especially when we talk about children, you know, whatever you're feeling. To me, they're saying in some ways for you to be able to honor those things. So embrace your emotions. Don't push down your feelings or judge your emotions. That's what they talk about, judgment. Things of the past that have came up. When you talk about children, or you talk about this new beginnings, like become one with it, understand it, almost treat it almost like children. You know how you need to nurture it, stand in your authority about it, how you need to be friendly and make connections with your emotions, how you need to be able to be loyal to what's being there, because you're trying to, right now, spirit is being pushing you to make these decisions soon. There's got to be a change about it, so you can be able to connect into this, because there's been a lot of, what's that the other one talk about, cycles and stuff. And then be in the present and dream of the future. When we dream, everything is possible. So when we talk about this new beginning that's going on here, know that we are trying to, again, we've got to be present. We can't be too much in the past, because sometimes in the past, again, it's like driving a car. We can't see ourselves forward or where we're supposed to go. And then in the future, again, we've been drawn to also, that was in the other reading, using our vision to make it plain as to where we want to go, especially when we talk about this new beginning. And even with children, how do we want to see our children, our dynamic of our relationship, or where they're going, or how we want to relate with them? How is that going to be changed? How can we be able to envision that? And then lastly, when we're talking about love, for the divine love messages to you, for person number 3, here we go, is also say, listen with your heart. Especially we say getting to know one another in this unrequited love. That is so very important, that you need to listen with your heart. It says you are listening to what is being said to you, but need to listen with a loving heart. Whatever you're saying to yourself, whatever your person might be even saying to you too as well, and getting to know one another, you need to learn that too as well. So action speaks louder than words. Then this came in reverse, understanding that right now and getting to know each other. Express your love through your actions. Look at the way love is being expressed with your person, or if you're looking at it from the aspect of you, look at how you're expressing love to yourself. Okay, how you doing that, how you going about that, and that's another way in which you could be able to deal with it. Look at it, how you loved yourself in the past versus to now. Maybe again that's not working. Again, coming with a pure judgment, a pure looking at view about things, and not being so judgy or self-critical too, as well, as a way of looking at that differently. Okay, so those are, it was 2 cards. So that is it for this reading. This is a little different as far as how we're looking at the energies, but I felt like we needed to do something different. Oh no, wait a second, I forgot. And let me have, how do we go about doing that? That was the love thing. Did I do this one? No. Okay, excuse me. Thought I was finished. So Spirit, here's some directions that they want you to do, some steps that you can take. For person number 1, connect to confidence and adventure in play. That's for you all about that play, attention to the red flags, and then the religious things, religious factors, spiritual factors are playing that. Connect. Be confident in what you see in the red flags of what it's trying to show you. Be confident in what you feel that truly is going on, not based about what happened in the past, but as far as what your belief systems and how things are showing up for you. And that's going to be able to help you to know what you need next to do. Adventure and play. Sometimes in adventuring and playing with things, you can be able to get ideas too from that too. For number 2, person number 2, person 2, second person. There we go. This is it. All right. I kind of like this. Something about this. He turned to the side. They want you to follow what makes you happy. Forget about the children. Also about that new beginning. Just go ahead and do what you feel is that's needed. Use your personal power. Don't be relying on outside of your children to validate or the new beginning to validate as well. Make sure that you just go ahead and tap into your own power and understand that there's some of these things when we talk about new beginnings or what's happening with your children, it has to also rely on divine timing. And last but not least, person number 3, the way they want you to deal with these situations is that you need to change your position or change your direction too as well. Especially when we talk about dealing with yourself, it's almost like hangman energies. But again, if you hang upside, you'll get a different vantage point, a viewpoint as far as seeing others. And they want you to raise your vibe. To me, again, because again, you're attracting a lot of negative Nellies on some things, and you're not really truly being able to see it. And I think raise your vibe even about how you even view yourself. This is what they're bringing to me as well, that you're not really in your spirit looking at yourself from a more positive aspect as well. Okay, all right then, I hope that this was helpful to you. Okay, another hour as well, and so that this will help you to understand what to do with the current energies. All right then, as always, stay uplifted. If you need anything from me, always go down to the description box below, because I've got all that stuff as far as readings. You can go to divineunisoulslove.co, or you can go to, if you want some healing work with you, such as looking at your past, some work with crystals, anything about healing, about trauma that happened in your body, pain, or emotionally, come see me at AshantiWellnessCenter.com. That one's about healing, and the other one is about helping you through like spiritual coaching. All right then, as always, stay uplifted, stay motivated, stay ascending. Namaste and Namago. Always remember, click, like, share, and subscribe to this channel so you can get more good stuff coming your way. All right, bye.